Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy Brandon Swims, and we are back with another movie review. Today, we're going to be discussing Gladiator and Gladiator 2. I think that both of these films are great films, but where I think the second one is better is in the story and the depiction of Rome. However, overall as a whole, I do think that the first one is better. The first one has a lot of dialogue as it's following the story of Maximus and it's telling his revenge after being betrayed by Commodus. Commodus is the son of Emperor Marcus Aurelius, and he is played by Joaquin Phoenix. A large majority of the first film is Commodus ruling over Rome after killing his father, Emperor Marcus Aurelius, because he finds out that after his dad dies, he is going to make sure that Maximus becomes the next emperor and not his son Commodus. This kicks off the revenge story of Maximus as he is forced to become a gladiator after he's sold into slavery. I think that the story of Maximus and Gladiator is one that is highly enjoyable, but sometimes gets bogged down by lengthy dialogue and discourse between characters. I do think that this film really does thrive, though, in the acting. There are incredible performances by Joaquin Phoenix, Russell Crowe, and Connie Nielsen in the first Gladiator. I think that it's really entertaining as a whole, and there's some of my favorite action scenes in this movie. There's a particular scene where Maximus has fought this gentleman, and in the gladiator pit, they are given kind of an approval system, a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and he's given the thumbs down, which basically means that you have to execute the person that you just fought. And so he takes this other guy's sword, which he already had, and chops his head off in an X formation, similar to if you've seen Revenge of the Sith, how they kill Count Dooku. I think that this film really does hold up pretty well for being a film that came out in 2000, and the performance by Russell Crowe is genuinely one of the best performances that I think I've ever seen him have. Now let's talk about Gladiator 2. It's going to be a spoiler-free discussion, and I wanted to just talk a little bit about it because I don't want to ruin the movie for you folks. This is a film that takes place 16 years after the death of Commodus and picks up with Paul Mescal's character of Hanno and his wife that are living in North Africa. As fate would have it, Hanno's life is about to change at the very beginning of this movie as Rome is looking to conquer Numidia and take the survivors as slaves. So following the battle, Numidia falls, and we see Hanno captured and have to take on the same role that Maximus had to take on as a slave and a gladiator and fight for his freedom. For me, this film is incredible because the portrayal of Rome is really, really cool. It's in complete turmoil, and the rulers are truly deviant. It feels like you're actually kind of put in Rome because of the events that are happening in this film, and it's very similar to the fall of Rome just in general. The emperors in this film are played by Joseph Quinn, who you might know from Stranger Things, and Fred Heschinger, who is rather new as an actor. He doesn't have a lot under his belt, but he's in Fear Street Part 1, and then he's also a regular in White Lotus. For a movie being called Gladiator 2, Paul Mescal's character of Hanno does not really control the pace of the movie. The pace is controlled by Denzel Washington's character, and he's just kind of manipulating people and playing his people to rise to power. And the way that it plays out is really, really interesting, and I think the performance that he puts on here is incredible. This is his last year of acting, and I think this is one of the best movies he's ever done. I think the performances in this movie by the cast are fantastic, and overall, it's a really enjoyable story, especially for a sequel. I don't hate sequels, but for a movie that was coming out 24 years after the first one, I wasn't really excited, and I didn't really see a point in them making a sequel. Upon seeing this movie, though, I was genuinely surprised of how good the film was. This movie is very action-oriented, and it has a small revenge story similar to that of Maximus. The movie flew by. It runs at about 2.5 hours. It's a couple minutes shorter than the original, but I was on the edge of my seat as we watched Hanno enter the arena, and I was pumped to see what came next. If you haven't seen either of these films and you love epic historical action films, I would advise watching them. Overall, Gladiator sits at a 9 out of 10 for me, and Gladiator 2 sits at an 8 out of 10, as it's just not as good as the first, as it's lacking in some areas. I hope that you guys have enjoyed my review, and I would love to know your thoughts on Gladiator and Gladiator 2 down in the comments below. If there's any series that you'd like to see me cover, please leave that as well. Please leave a like and subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode of Swims Reviews. Peace.